What you're about to see is an unreleased Mechagodzilla video. Earthbound started making this in the spring of last year but kept putting off coming back to it. Now that it is done, I hope you enjoy. Hello, my name is Mechagodzilla. It's been a hot minute and you've probably been wondering where I have been. Well, I've been spending the last 2 years working on an epic graphic novel about an awesome robot dragon who saves the world from aliens and makes out with his satanic anime waifu girlfriend, but more recently, Melody and I have relocated to the most remote reaches of space. Why, you may ask? Well, since Donald Trump has been elected president again, I am compelled by one of my prime directives to take orders from the sitting president, no matter who it is. So during the transition of power, I used the time to get so far away from Earth that I cannot receive any instructions from him. You have no idea what hell it was to work for him the first time. Please, Mr. President, I promise you, Rachel Maddow is not in your closet. Please go to bed before you ask. It is also one of my prime directives that I cannot harm or allow be harmed the president-elect or former presidents. So no. There was no window to do what you're thinking. But now I am coming out of hiatus to go another 3 rounds with our old friend Doug Walker, who had the gall to review the Lord of the Rings movies, the greatest trilogy in the history of film. There is only one return and it's not of the Jedi, it's of the King.
This episode brought to you by Carmen Sandiego.
So loud.
Also brought to you by HelloFresh. Check us out at Midwest Gaming Classic April 4th through 6th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Is he still going?
And check us out at C2.
Oh my fucking god.
Characters of a C-minus internet review show. You have been summoned here to answer the question of how to review what has been reviewed.
Get to the fucking review already.
Let's take a look at Fellowship of the Ring. The film opens in a magical land called Middle-earth, where we get the backstory about the forging of powerful rings, one of them made by an evil villain named Sauron.
The Dark Lord Sauron forged in secret a master ring.
And yeah, I know I've said it before and I'll say it again, I don't like Sauron's design.
Sauron is one of the most badass villain designs in all of cinema history.
I like you never see his face or hear him talk, and being covered in metal is on brand for these villains. But I'm sorry, this is supposed to be the great deceiver, the ultimate evil, and he looks like a Marvel villain.
No, this is a Marvel villain.
I am king!
You're a pussy.
You talk to ants. Oh, I'm so scared.
Even his lizard eye going bah, 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 just seems laughably over the top.
Fuck you. You wouldn't know coolness if it get you in the face. You literally think The Avengers is one of the best movies you've ever seen, when it's just a 2-hour Universal Park ride. You bitched and whined about Transformers 3 the year before, despite them being literally the same fucking film.
Say what you want about dorky helmet guy in the Bakshi version, but he was literally a shadow, and I think he's scarier as just a shadow.
Probably cause you were scared of your own as a kid, which is why you stayed indoors and watched Disney sing-along tapes in your training pants as a 7-year-old.
Are they seeing who can hold a fart the longest? What are we doing? Actually, that would explain their awkward laugh immediately after. We're classy here.
You're such a fucking hypocrite. You're always sitting on your high horse saying how fart jokes aren't funny, yet here you are. You even acted out murdering people who thought poop was funny. Kiddo, meet the pot. Also, that wasn't funny.
Gandalf tours the Shire filled with small people and small pigs and small sheep and small dogs. Yeah, how does this work?
Okay, I'll give that one to you.
And I know again I've mentioned this before, but I'm really not the biggest fan of this film's editing.
Then watch the extended edition. What else are you gonna do with an hour? Send nudes to your boyfriend Corey Taylor.
A lot of fans introduce newcomers to the extended version, and I don't think that's wise either. Yeah, it's neat, I'm glad it exists, but a lot of it isn't needed, and I think it drag out too long for first-timers. Except for this one. And even then, not all the way, like up to where they get to Rivendell. Because you're setting up the main characters, and that is going to take a little more time.
He contradicts himself in a later review, when he says they should have kept Saruman's death in Return of the King, but that's the common consensus. It's like saying Ron Howard should have directed the Star Wars prequels, or that SpongeBob should have ended with the movie. No shit, Bozo. As for your previous point, there's a YouTuber that goes over every extended edition scene and whether or not it's important, and though he's soft on certain YouTubers I find unpleasant, the videos in question are fine on their own. Plus each extended edition can be watched in 2 parts and Fellowship's extended edition was Earthbound's first introduction to the trilogy. Then a few minutes after he says that, he explains why the extended version is better. What the fuck?
We don't want any more visitors, well-wishers, or distant relations.
And what about preachers of Jesus?
That joke makes no sense, since Gandalf is a Christ allegory. You yourself acknowledge this later on.
I think most people know there's a lot of practical effects and forced perspective to make the height differences for the hobbits look more convincing, and they're really well done. Though I always thought it was a little weird they spent millions and millions on this and didn't just hire little people.
Then we wouldn't have Elijah Wood, Sean Austin, Billy Boyd, Dominic Monaghan and Ian Holm. If you want a fantasy film starring little people, watch Time Bandits.
I don't know, maybe they want actors who are somewhat well known, and yeah, these weren't huge stars, but they were known. And there weren't really that many little people stars back then, so it feels a little odd, but it doesn't take away from the great performances all these people give.
You just answered your own question. I'm starting to think you do this on purpose to stretch the time of your videos out to appease the almighty algorithm. I don't see why you need to, when you whore yourself out to stamps.com.
Bilbo surprises him by putting on the ring and disappearing, planning to leave the ring with Frodo, yet he finds it has a strange hold on it.
I swear, that Doug narrates in the exact same tone every single time he does voiceover. Not just in this video but in every review he has done for a long time. Seriously. Watch any review of his in the past 5 or so years. The tone is so repetitive, it's like I'm watching the entirety of Trapped in the Closet.
The words Shire and Baggins are shouted, as Gandalf figures out the One Ring is in fact the Ring of Sauron. Gandalf reveals this is the One Ring to rule them all, and in the wrong hands, Sauron could return. Like I mentioned before, Sam was eavesdropping, so Gandalf says he should go with Frodo on his journey. He says he'll meet with him at an inn after he consults with the head of his order, Saruman.
Anyone who programs an AI voice of Doug Walker will notice this in every generation of text, since this is one of the only 3 scales he can speak in. Imagine this guy giving a wedding toast.
Surprised to discover a guy with this appearance who lives in this place is amazingly a bad guy.
Saruman was appointed the keeper of Isengard by the king of Rohan. Come on. You made this review after seeing War of the Rohirrim, and that movie was based on the writings of Tolkien. They only took artistic license with Hera's agency, which I am fine with, cause hey, I'm Mechagodzilla, and I am not a chud.
Against the power of Mordor, there can be no victory. You must join with Sauron.
But didn't you say on Charlie Rose I'm never a Sauron guy? I think it's okay. The last guy who was in my spot turned out great.
Thanks for reminding me why I can't go back to Earth for another 4 years. Do you know how much it costs to get a pizza delivered out here?
They have themselves a wizard's duel.
I win!
Which is pretty cool, even if the scene is a little silly.
Would you rather they have a ray fight like in Harry Potter? Sorry. That was Earthbound failing to repress the memory of being the only Star Wars kid left on his block, while the other kids shouted gibberish with chopsticks. Also, fuck J.K. Rowling.
Cut back to Sam and Frodo, who bump into Merry and Pippin.
Again with that scale.
The 9 rings made from men have been corrupted by Sauron, though, and are now the Black Rider. They're unstoppable, magically powerful killing machines, except when it comes to water.
Did you have a speech therapist who treated you with one of those hypno spirals or something? Why do you talk like that? Do they recognize you at the drive-thru before you pull up? They must given the pictures of your wife I have seen.
They expect to meet up with Gandalf, but he's not been seen for months. They're approached by a ranger named Strider, played by Viggo Mortensen, whose introduction again is slightly the victim of odd editing.
Imagine this guy testifying as a witness to a murder in court.
But they're shooting it like, ooh, we're supposed to think Strider let them die. We've only known this guy for literally a minute. Why am I supposed to get that reaction?
What motive would he have to let them die? Why intercede at all, if he didn't care?
Did you know Carmen Sandiego is going to be 40 years old?
Too easy.
Click on the link below and see all the additions of the game and DLC content you can enjoy today.
I'm spiting this game out of boycott.
Hey, what's for dinner tonight?
Hey cutie, I'm making beef bourguignon tonight. Is that okay?
Yeah, just don't open the good wine. I'm saving that for when you know who you know what's.
Gotcha.
Don't use the green crock pot. It has a crack in it.
Toilet do that?
Can someone weld my balls to the tip of my tail?
Frodo wakes up in Rivendell all healed up and with Gandalf as well, who explains how Air Deus Ex Machina saved him from Saruman.
Bullshit. He told the moth to go get help and we saw the moth again, before he jumped on the eagle. The only Deus Ex Machina was your neurons interacting.
He is Aragorn. You owe him your allegiance.
Like how he owes me my scrunchie.
That joke was ghost-written by the guy who wrote the jokes for the Family Guy Star Wars episodes. Yeah, I said it.
While everyone bickers, Frodo seems tortured yet drawn to the ring, so he says he'll be the one to take it to the only place it can be destroyed, Mount Doom. Wait, nobody knew a guy who lived in a place called Mount Doom was bad? Its name is Doom!
Do you think Death Valley named itself? The name of the volcano is Amunde Amarth. It's called Mount Doom by non-locals.
You have my sword. And you have my bow.
And my axe.
Here's my sword. Here's my bow. Here's my axe. Bye!
Dated joke is dated.
They do their Avengers trailer shot and make their way to Mordor.
That looks nothing like the Avengers trailer shot.
However, not only do they find everyone inside is dead, but a monster is stopping them from going the other way.
A monster? That is the Watcher in the water, which may or may not be one of the nameless things. Come on. Stop pretending you're not a nerd.
As they venture forth, they discover Gimli's cousin is dead, and yeah, I know I'm repeating myself again and again, but I like the original reaction more of just Gimli tilting his hat over his eyes and walking away.
Both versions are fine. What's your beef with this version of Gimli? I never understood that. If everyone is stoic and reserved, the movie becomes boring.
This kind of feels like that cry from the show Intervention.
He's probably just sad that his cousin is gone forever. Please excuse him. At least he's being more reserved than you were when you threw a tantrum over a sailor who couldn't swim.
A sailor in the Navy on a battle cruiser can't swim. Okay. Okay, Michael Bay. Okay, Michael, oh, America, fuck yeah, Michael Bay, I'd do anything for fucking America, I'd jerk it off until it splooges everywhere. You are making our military look like undisciplined asses. I'm trying to get this straight. They take women up in their planes for joyrides, use cheat sheets to pass their eye exam, which still doesn't make any fucking sense, by the way.
Shut up! The Balrog looks good, but I will say, I wish they mixed CG with something that was actually there, like a puppet or stop motion or something. He looks just a little too much like a World of Warcraft boss.
Then you should watch the movie on a better TV. Go to Costco and buy a new one with the money you got thrown on your stained mattress after all those bullshit subscription services ran a train on your Disney man baby ass.
Gandalf defeats the Balrog, but the Balrog pulls him down with it. They stop the hobbits from helping him due to the literal nothing shooting at them right now.
They literally show orcs shooting at them 5 shots later. Your job was to watch The Lord of the Rings and you still found some way to half-ass it.
Oh no!
I hope the few friends you have left at Channel Awful aren't this apathetic at your funeral, when you are either stabbed by a Spectrum-crazed fan or crushed to death by that blood monster you settled for.
Let's follow it up with this really dated frame rate effect that looked terrible back then. It looks even worse now.
Not as terrible as To Boldly Flee.
The ironic thing is, for all my complaining there's too much cut out of this, you could completely cut that moment and not miss a thing.
Legolas literally warns Aragorn that something is amiss in the next fucking scene. Did you go to the CinemaSins School of Video Making?
Sometimes this movie does get a little drunk on its self-importance.
Says the guy who loves The Dark Knight so much.
Aragorn fights off Boromir's killer and
his name is Lurtz.
Oh my god, Aragorn killed Boromir!
I hope you enjoyed that one joke cause it was the only funny one in the video and I should wrap it up there. Stay tuned for part 2. Part 2. I'm skipping ahead a bit, since he doesn't really say anything in the beginning that's worth my time.
Grammer banishes Boromir, but he continues to hunt down and kill Saruman's army.
Why does he pronounce everyone's names wrong? You'll see what I mean the more we get into this.
Be healed! Hallelujah! Estaria, Christ compels you!
Oh shit, he leveled up. Wonder if that Bombadil fellow can up my XP.
Again. By the logic of your joke, he is exorcising in the name of himself. Earlier in the review, he even compares Gandalf to Aslan. Sorry I skipped over that part, and a lot of this review, but Doug is actually being very fair with this one and the jokes aren't terrible. The only notable things so far are mostly shit I already covered. What? I'm harsh but I'm fair and I'm not going to pad the video out with a bunch of stupid quips over every little thing he says like Drew Pickles 1957 who used the likeness of the character for easy clicks.
He tries to kill Grimer for all that he's done, but Aragorn stops it.
Grima is Saruman's lackey. Grimer is a Pokemon. You'd know the difference if you didn't have such a hate boner for the franchise. Yeah. Earthhound didn't get into it at the peak of the hype, but he didn't go around telling the other kids it was lame. He played with his Bionicles in peace. And at least I pronounced names wrong, because I am a Speakonia character.
Enough blood has been spilled on his account.
Yes, let him give Saruman all our secrets so even more blood can be spilled on his account. What, do they not have a prison there?
I actually agree with this point. Sparing Wormtongue's life isn't inherently a bad choice, but just letting him escape was very foolish. Not only did he tell Saruman of the storm drain at Helm's Deep, but he also advised that Saruman send riders to attack the caravan. The only saving grace was that skirmish caused Aragorn to see Saruman's army coming and warn the king. But the thing is, the king already knew that something was coming for them and nothing Aragorn told him was of any help. Now it is possible that, if Saruman didn't know about the storm drain, he still would have had the Uruk-hai bring the gunpowder and then the Uruk-hai would have seen it. But the weird thing is, why didn't one of the soldiers trip him? Or something? Do they need to wait for the king's specific instruction to do everything? He was right there. Why did they act like Spider-Man at the wrestling ring?
This is me, because I didn't eat right.
That looks like the healthiest skeleton in the history of medical science.
Factor prepares me to optimize my nutrition this year.
Is this your way of sending a secret signal to your wife? It's not her fault you put Disney Channel shows as an interest in your dating profile and she was your only reply, unless you used a video service. If so, how did you hear her voice over the helicopter blades?
Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy.
So now you know who's hiring. If you graduated culinary school but no restaurant will take you, or you could just go on Hell's Kitchen and sabotage the person Chef Ramsay already picked.
Lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto Meals.
Earthhound lost 20 pounds in 8 weeks and didn't need a single one of your glorified TV dinners. You wanna lose weight? Stop drinking soda and ride your damn bike.
Based on a randomized controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto,
they should pick a new spokesman, since your entire fanbase eats pizza bagels and dinosaur chicken nuggets and the only exercise they get is tapping to pics of art of furry characters.
Results will vary depending on diet and exercise.
Why does that sound familiar?
It's simple. The more active you are, the more swimsuit works for you.
Oh, no shit! The more you exercise, the more swimsuit will help you lose weight. Yeah, it's pretty subtle that way. It's almost as if you don't need it at all.
Obi-Wan Kenobi quote.
Exercise like this version of me. That's right. Oh my gosh, I'm so much healthier, but I'm still skeleton working out. It's
genius marketing associating their product with death.
It was deliberate. It was deliberate.
Can we drop by Willow's house and make a trade?
I really don't want to see your version of Gimli. One that would totally waste the talent of this veteran actor.
I am not Mr. Pavarotti. Mr. Pavarotti is an Italian. He speaks like this. Do I speak like this? No. Why? Because I am an Englishman, you blistering idiot! Stupido! Foolish Florentines!
For a British tar is a soaring soul, as free as a mountain bird. His energetic fist should be ready to what dictator.
Oh, you dimbo! Take back your wallet or I'll rip your arms off!
Wrong. Good people don't rip other people's arms off.
Meanwhile, after Saruman invents bombs. Not in the book, but kinda cool.
Told you he read the books. I'll have the paralegal read that back when appropriate, Your Honor.
I go back and forth on this as it doesn't seem to add that much to the story. But I guess it does give him time to not only get back on his feet, but also debate who his heart belongs to, seeing how Eowyn seems to have the hots for him, and Arwen is debating if she should skip her trip to the Grey Havens and stay with him.
Shit like this is why the extended editions are important to watch. In a scene that was cut from the theatrical, Aragorn sees a crazed horse named Brago in the stables and calms him down before releasing him to the wild. The horse that finds Aragorn is not the horse he was riding but Brago. I would commend Doug for resisting the urge to make a Hildago reference, but Doug's fans only watch cartoons and fantasy movies.
It's time to look beautifully at things and speak gibberish.
Whether by the sword or the slow decay of time, Aragorn will die.
What was that? Did you download the Sega CD version by mistake?
Wow, I got every father's wish, giving a speech to his daughter that keeps her away from boys. Go me.
Your daughter is going to need serious therapy, having been raised by a 300-pound slug and a screeching goat man.
The quest will claim his life.
So says my very vague doublespeak I won't go into more detail about.
It's part of Frodo's character arc in him realizing it's a one-way trip. Elrond and the council were basically leaving it up to fate and hoping it was on their side. Galadriel didn't literally see the future and think Frodo was going to die.
Faramir's story almost works as someone who wants to redeem himself in the eyes of his father and match the glory of his fallen brother, as he plans to do so by getting the ring to his kingdom, which is falling apart.
The ring will go to Gondor.
There's just one problem. We have no idea why he's doing any of this. Like, sure, to save his people, but we just did this with Boromir. How is this any different? How is it not repeating? Well, I feel like every film's extended version has at least one crucial missing scene, and for this film, this is the one, showing how loved his brother was and how much his father dismissed him.
This is why the extended editions are important. Every theatrical re-release uses this cut of the film.
Meanwhile, Treebeard discusses with his fellow Ents if it makes sense for them to go to war against Saruman.
This is the forest of no return.
Hot, hot, hot.
At the time, Tolkien fans really lost their shit when some elves were sent to help with the battle, and I honestly could take it or leave it. It's nice seeing a small army of men fight for themselves, but it's also nice seeing not every elf is leaving and some stay behind because they believe in their fight.
Yes, but the books already had something for that. More on that in his Return of the King review.
Man, for a battle they're trying to convince us they could lose and everyone could die. Everyone is too goddamn invincible. Our main characters literally throw themselves into this army of super soldiers, instant death, not once, not twice, but 3 times and never get a scratch on them.
Would you rather have the characters be killed or horribly dismembered like your average episode of Game of Thrones, where every good character suffers a horrible end? I'm not saying that show would have been better if Robb Stark took King's Landing, publicly beheaded Cersei, cut Joffrey's cock and balls off, gave him 100 lashes and a daily pair of anguish treatment and kept him in a pit for the rest of his life, but Game of Thrones would have been a lot better if Robb Stark took King's Landing, publicly beheaded Cersei, cut Joffrey's cock and balls off, gave him 100 lashes and a daily pair of anguish treatment and kept him in a pit for the rest of his life. Ever see the ending of The Fly 2? Never mind.
I'm not blind, there's a ton of really cool stuff. I just wish it wasn't interrupted with...
Toss me. Don't tell the elf.
Look what they've done to my dwarf.
That was supposed to be a callback to this scene in Fellowship of the Ring.
Nobody tosses a dwarf.
Not the beer!
Meanwhile, Faramir takes Sam and Frodo to Osgiliath, where Sam finally tells him Boromir died trying to take the ring. Why didn't you bring that up to him days earlier?
Because the screenwriters needed to stretch this to the end of the movie. Plus it's hard to break news like that to someone you barely know. If he didn't at that moment, they would have been taken to Minas Tirith. Denethor would have the ring and they would have been thrown in the dungeon or something.
But one of the writers tries to take the ring from Frodo, who's so possessed he starts to comply. Sam stops him, though, in one of the more intense scenes. I think most people in this moment were like, oh my god, the faculty kid's gonna kill Rudy!
Nobody was thinking about Rudy when watching this movie.
I can't do this, Sam.
He snaps him out of it, and Sam makes a speech that there are some things worth fighting for.
It's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here.
Tell me about it!
That joke would have been funny if Doug could actually do a Gollum voice. It's supposed to flow out like grainy molasses. Like a meatwood voice with more spit in the back of the throat. Earthhound would demonstrate, but he prevented all material that uses his real voice.
I guess a lot of people at the time connected this speech to being pro the Iraq War, which was going on.
You mean the war that happened the year after this movie came out? You are as retarded as your defenders.
I think the idea was more self-defense than invade where your most wanted enemy isn't.
Yes. Of course that war never happened in the Swellnomatic universe timeline cause I destroyed all the terrorists in 1 week. Ever see that scene from Watchmen? Never mind.
But, I don't know, maybe Tolkien would have liked freedom fries, I'm not sure.
Tolkien was British. So freedom chips.
The battle for Middle-earth is about to begin.
At the end of part 2 in a 3-part trilogy.
Missed opportunity to reference the battle for Middle-earth games, except Doug Walker isn't a gamer except for when he hoard out to Don Bluth's Dragon's Lair scam.
Faramir lets Sam and Frodo go as they partake in some of the lamer writing in the movie.
Frodo wouldn't have got far without Sam.
You shouldn't make fun. I was being serious.
So was I.
You wrote a scene where Mechagodzilla rapes the nostalgia chick. Sit the fuck down.
Dude, you have been a colossal dick all friggin' day. Shut the hell up.
But Gollum has plans for how to get his revenge. We let the first one end a few pages late. We can let this one end a few pages early.
A few pages? The second half of the second book is the first half of the third movie.
And that was The Two Towers. This is when the movies went from good to awesome.
Which is why you review it for clicks to stay relevant, cause you used to review old stuff from the 80s and 90s that nobody remembered, hence your fucking tagline.
I'm a nostalgia critic, I remember, so you don't have to.
Not anymore apparently.
It's over now. The Lord of the Rings trilogy has come to an end. I'm glad to be here, at the end of all things.
How do you pick up the threads of an old...
Are you still doing this? Jesus fucking Christ.
Lord of the Rings had 1,000,000 endings, so we should have 1,000,000 endings.
Oh come on. That's not even a Lord of the Rings character. You look like a part-timer at an Indian tea cafe.
It came to our knowledge that we hadn't gotten married yet.
The chart says this is the most cost-effective way to work it into a review.
You and your straw man chart characters. I'm sorry, not every movie is 100% under the artist's control. Also, one of them is wearing an I Love Farts hat. I refer you to an earlier point in the video.
I wonder why they put me in these endings if I wasn't even in the original reviews.
I wonder why you were put in the show when you weren't in the original episodes.
He kills Deagle for the ring, and while the transformation over the years is wonderfully done, it is weird it's not a flashback or a dream Gollum is having. This just comes out of nowhere and then cuts back to the story.
Each trilogy entry opens with a flashback. How would you have opened it?
Let's just have his head and be done with it.
No, he's no power anymore.
That edit wasn't my fluke. It was his.
Again, I've gone on and on about how cutting Saruman from the film was a huge mistake. I mean, what, everybody and their pumpkins gets a conclusion, yet one of your main villains isn't even allowed in the flick? You're 10 minutes in, people aren't gonna get restless yet.
Because Peter Jackson and Christopher Lee had creative disagreements.
Matt, I just want to look at it.
Pippin wants to see the shiny Palantir again, which, seeing how in the extended edition they show they smoked barrels of weed beforehand, that's not very surprising. But unfortunately, Sauron is on call waiting.
Saruman, when did you turn into a mini Eric Idle?
Not since watching Modern Family Guy have I wished I had spherical eyes so I could roll them.
Pippin!
Stop trying to make frame drops a thing. It'll never be a thing. Pippin says he saw a vision of a burning white tree, which Gandalf knows is a sign Gondor is about to be attacked.
You are watched by millions of diaper boys, and you let that edit slip by.
Gandalf takes Pippin to Gondor, to the city of Minas Tirith.
Minas Tirith? He is 100% doing this on purpose.
Arwen is off to the Grey Havens when a vision shows her that if she stays, she'll give birth to Jesus.
What?
I mean, yeah, what other interpretation am I supposed to take from this imagery?
That she's throwing away her happiness for safety.
Hey, stick it out! Your kid could become Christ in a series that already has a Christ.
Sure.
Pippin feels guilt about Boromir dying for him, so he pledges his allegiance to the king.
Denethor is not the king. Gandalf says so in the movie.
Lord Denethor, however, is not the king. He is a steward only.
Hail Denethor, son of Exelion, Lord and Steward of Gondor.
You even say this earlier in the review.
Where the steward King Denethor, played by John Noble, has just discovered the death of his son, Boromir.
Again with that scale, it makes your review sound repetitive and factory-made.
Something Mary does for Theoden, the extended cut, which is another scene I feel should have been left in, like it shows them both stepping up.
That's why the extended editions are important. Again, he contradicted himself.
Send forth all legions. What of the wizard? I will break him.
In another scene we'll weirdly cut out.
Hey, at least you got a death sequence in the original cut.
I reiterate.
Like, I get it, he's an asshole, but the book showed he's also human. I'm shocked they didn't show he had his own Palantir with Sauron manipulating him into his madness.
Again, he admits he read the books.
The mention of all the Oscar nominations this film got, best cinematography was not one of them. Because, you know, blurry Maguire and horse asses is a lot more epic.
Because the Oscars are run by elitist shitheads who hate fantasy.
The beacons are lit! Gun knuckles for 8! And Rohan will answer.
With a resounding no. Light the beacon of what have you done for us lately? Light the beacon of I came to your kid's birthday party. Light the beacon of you got—
I feel so bad for the saps whose first exposure to the trilogy was in these reviews. Fuck Doug Walker.
I will not yield the river in Pelennor unfought.
Things aren't much better in Minas Tirith as Denethor sends Faramir on a suicide mission to take back what the orcs have taken.
Again with Minas Tirith. Stop pretending you're not a nerd. It's said multiple times.
How far is Minas Tirith?
Minas Tirith shall return to Minas Tirith.
Come back to Minas Tirith! The scouts report Minas Tirith is surrounded.
The beacons of Minas Tirith! Be right for Minas Tirith.
Hell. He even uses one of those clips in the damn review. Why?
Again during a time when people thought Two Towers was saying it was pro the Iraq War.
Who was saying that? How did they know about a war that hadn't happened yet? All 3 movies were filmed a year before Colonel Clusterfuck was sworn into office. The remaining years were dedicated to reshoots and polishing the CGI.
Even if I swear it sounds a little like a pop song from time to time.
Do you just say everything that comes to mind without second thought?
Through shadow, through the edge of night.
How can a song with no auto-tuning sound like there's auto-tuning?
You made the Wall album and you're re-insulting the singing of Billy Boyd? Go drink dumpster juice.
Nobody really knows what this random connection between Arwen and the ring is. It looks like she's sick and somehow destroying the ring will save her, I guess?
Because her mother was human and by choosing a mortal life, she bound herself to Middle-earth which was falling under the shadow of Sauron.
With that said, I love it when Elrond shows Aragorn's sword isn't a limp dick anymore and he seems to crazily get off on it.
The power of this sword can summon to him an army more deadly than any that walks this earth.
I'm so hard, I'm so hard, I'm so hard, I'm so hard!
Grandiose dialogue like that is why movies used to be awesome, before they just became a bunch of Marvel and A24 crap. And no, I'm not on the side of the critical stinker, constantly bashing new stuff cause it's new and lying about movie trailers is for immature children.
Check out me playing Arkham Knight every Friday on Twitch.
I'd rather watch community theater.
The battle for Minas Tirith begins.
Please stop saying that.
The spider does end up getting him though, just as Sam returns to fight her off.
Let him go, you filth.
I can't believe I had the weirdest boner for you and James and the Giant Peach!
So, when you were not chasing cartoon jail bait, you were chasing cartoon spider bait?
Tell me if you've heard this in these films. Somebody's thought to be dead but isn't.
They are just following the books. This isn't The Walking Dead. Then again, that show was all about the dead coming back to life. Until it wasn't.
No matter what comes through that gate, you will stand your ground.
Wow. A Monty Python joke. Also, if you read the books, why didn't you comment on how the Gondorians didn't hold off the orcs at the gate and then charge out into Pelennor when Rohan showed up?
Right now! Am I the only one, by the way, who wanted to see this happen? Asshole.
Admittedly, no.
Set a fire in our flesh.
Are you sure we get to burn our boss alive?
Seems too good to be true.
How do we know this isn't a test so we can fire the ones who do and give a raise to the ones that don't?
The channel awesome work environment in a nutshell.
Speaking of which, the Oliphants arrive. Was it Really the most imaginative name Tolkien could come up with?
They are also called Moomakil Mr. Book Reader.
And they end up being hands down the best part of the movie.
Is that why you married one?
Okay, I'll say it. That's what Sauron should have looked like.
Then what would the Witch King have looked like?
This leads to another scene that should have been left in with the mouth of Sauron. Not just because this thing looks really awesome, but because they give the impression to them that Frodo is dead.
Except the way the film was paced, the audience knows he isn't, unlike in the books where the events after Shelob's lair from Sam's point of view were told after this scene. It makes me wish that Ralph Bakshi made his Return of the King so we could see how that would look in a screen adaptation, but I guess animated movies are only profitable when you have a bunch of gay animals singing in them. So anyway, Doug spends the next 5 minutes telling nothing but gay jokes about Frodo and Sam and complaining about the endings like he's Randall from Clerks 2.
And yeah, Gandalf's laugh in slow-mo is basically the devil's laugh, right?
I remember the Doug Walker Iceberg video tricking me into listening to the EFAP commentary on Doug's Top 10 Dumbest Lord of the Rings moments and hearing Mauler defend this shot, and I have to reluctantly agree with Doug on this one. It's not so much the face he makes or the laugh itself but the way the shot is filmed, having a character be shot dead center of the frame with nothing in the background teeters on the precipice of the uncanny valley. Also, Mauler is a Nazi.
We're given, let's be honest, a curtain call for most of these characters as we get another fake-out blackout. Again, people started applauding, but the film kept going.
Really?
What theater were you in? Anyway, he goes on for another 5 minutes with the same 2 jokes.
Because, yeah, Return of the King is still easily the best one.
I used to think that upon its release, but now I think Fellowship is the best and Return is the weakest, but still better than 99% of all movies.
Of course there's issues like with any of them, like I would have enjoyed if Aragorn had a few more kingly things to do to build up his role.
If it stayed loyal to the books you read, you would have had those moments, and that's what I was talking about before. In the books, Aragorn met up with several elves and the Dunedain Rangers on the paths of the dead and then met up with the Ghost Army, and instead of the Ghost Army erasing the orcs like a Mario Paint project, all they did was scare the Corsairs off their ships. Then Aragorn rallied the people of Gondor to aid Minas Tirith. That's why I think Haldir should have lived at Helm's Deep. Then he and his company could escort Aragorn to the Dim Road, and then Haldir's men could have jumped off the ship with Aragorn and made quick work with the orcs. The Ghost Army makes the Rohirric charge pointless. If you think about it, I don't know why Peter Jackson and Fran Walsh wrote it that way, since even as a kid, Earthbound thought the Ghost Army jumped the shark a bit. Anyway, he does more of his stupid skits, so, if he's done then I'm done too. Later, skaters.